Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is The Screamin' Skulls and Other Ghosts by Elliott O'Donnell. Now, this was published in 1964, and this is a collection of ghost stories written by Elliott O'Donnell, which are supposedly true. Now, Elliott O'Donnell was an author and he was a ghost hunter in his lifetime, and he's claimed to actually have had many different supernatural experiences. He also claimed that when he was 5 years old, he saw a ghost for the first time. Now, many of the stories in this collection are based on the supernatural encounters that Elliott O'Donnell claimed to have actually had. Some of the ghost stories in this collection are based on supernatural experiences that people Elliott O'Donnell knew or interviewed claim to have had, and many of the stories in this collection are based on legends of ghosts. Now, whether or not you believe the stories in this collection are true really depends on not just whether or not you believe in ghosts, but it also depends on how much credibility you give Elliott O'Donnell, because I have heard that apparently he has staged some of the hauntings that he's supposedly investigated, so it really depends on how much credibility you give this guy. Now, I've said many times before that when it comes to me and the paranormal, I'm very much kind of a skeptic on it. Like, I don't doubt the existence of things like ghosts and demons, but at the same time, when I hear somebody claiming that they've had a supernatural experience, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. But my basic philosophy is there's really no proof one way or the other whether or not things like this actually exist. So I basically read the stories in this collection really as just horror stories, while if you're somebody who really does believe in ghosts and you believe the stories in this collection, then that means this book might have even more of an effect on you. Now, do I actually believe the stories in this collection to be true? I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, and once again, not all the stories in this collection were experienced by Elliott O'Donnell himself. Some of them are based on paranormal accounts taken from other places. Now, whether or not I thought these stories were true really did not take away from my enjoyment of the book. I still thought a lot of the stories in this collection were very effective and really freaking creepy. And I do think Elliott O'Donnell was a very good writer. Like, I would say that all the stories in this book are very well written. Now, my favorite stories in this collection are The Fifth Stair and The Grey Horror. Both of those were ungodly creepy. Another one of my favorite stories in this collection is The Phantom Clock of Portman Square. Another one of my favorites is Pearl and Jean of Allenbank. Another one of my favorites is The Fourth Tree in the Avenue. That one was also ungodly creepy. Another one of my favorites is A Night Vigil at Christ Church, and another one of my favorites is The Haunted Stream. Now, out of all the stories in this book, my absolute favorite is the story The Grey Horror. This one was just creepy as hell. Now, The Grey Horror was one of the few stories in this book that was actually set in America. Most of the stories in this collection are set in Europe, specifically the UK, Ireland, and Scotland. Now, this story, The Grey Horror, is about this valley by the Hudson River that is haunted by this grey skeleton-like ghost, which does not appear to be the ghost of a human being, but possibly a demon. But yeah, The Grey Horror is definitely my favorite story in this collection. Like, if you find this collection, I personally recommend reading The Grey Horror more than any of the other stories. stories. This story was just creepy as all hell. Now, I'm not sure if I actually believe this to be a true story, but as a horror story, this one was very effective. But yeah, I would definitely recommend The Screaming Skulls and Other Ghosts by Elliott O'Donnell. This is actually a really good book and has some really genuinely creepy stories in it, and even if you don't believe any of these stories to be true, it's still a really good book though. And if you're interested in paranormal activity and supernatural phenomenon, then I would definitely recommend checking this book out. So yeah, that's my review on The Screaming Skulls and Other Ghosts by Elliott O'Donnell, and bye.